Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Barlo-B.Theorizing, and welcome back to the Barlo Zone, home of the one and only demon hunter King Kaido himself sent to Azeroth. How's everybody doing this morning? I hope y'all having an amazing day and it's bright and sunny like it is where I'm at. Oh man, I got a good one today. Some that's kind of caught me off guard. My last video, by the way, I saw almost to 100 views on the last two videos, and man, y'all are really showing me the love and making me feel it, so I appreciate you guys. And just once again like to ask for your patience as I am getting used to the script thing. You'll see probably got the glow on my laptop and the glasses right there. I got some bullet points because I really felt like this one had the potential to get away from me. So I definitely made sure to take down some notes. But I wanted to start by mentioning Teching 101. I just got done watching one of his videos. I try to keep up on all of them because, like I've said before, dude's channel has given me a lot of inspiration in some of my theories. And he really entertaining, kind of an inspiration for me as well, because he doesn't do the super, he edits more than me for sure, but he doesn't do the super editing thing. It's a lot of just, we get to see the sincerity behind the words he's saying to us, right? So I always try to keep up with his, but I do have to contradict one, because the video I just got done watching was his is Empress Tritoma, Luffy's mom, I believe was the title. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Like I said, Matt's a very entertaining person. I always have fun watching his videos, whether I disagree or not. That being said, you do not need to watch his video to understand this. I'm going to elaborate on my own stuff. And the part where I contradict, I will make a note towards the end or mention that this is the part that is contradictory to what he's saying, because he mentioned, and it's something that gets brought up a lot in the community. I'm not putting all the weight for this statement on Techie's shoulders by any means. A lot of people feel this way, right? But he voiced it in this latest video about how it's probably not important who Luffy's mom is, right? And that's something, over 28 years and not meeting somebody, it's a thought that's easy to fall into, accept, live with, and, just kind of take it face value. Because if Luffy's mom was important, logic says we would have been introduced to her at some point by now, especially since we're theoretically coming up on the last 3 to 7 years of the story. It seems like every year Shueisha or Oda come out with a, oh yeah, we're 5 years away from the end of the story type deal. But I said I had a pretty interesting thought concerning all of this, right? And no, it's not, oh, Tritoma's Luffy's mom, Tritoma's not Luffy's mom. It's not anything more about the dragon and Garp angle. But what was this thought, right? I been thinking a lot about this whole, it's kind of a facet now, like its own little separate corner of theory crafting, right? Concerning Luffy and the Kuja pirates or the Kuja tribe. And there's a curious question that dawned on me. I was out on my way to a job interview a couple days ago, and I don't know why I was looking at some fish swimming in the river, and I grabbed a couple pictures. I'll probably put them up there because wildlife makes me smile. But I was looking at these fish, and I had a thought. I'm like, how old is Amazon Lily? Like, what was the earliest mention of it as an island, right? And might be kind of curious, how did fish get? I'm thinking about this. Well, where I'm from, there's a certain family of fish that has the potential to basically turn into another kind of fish, depending on the life it's lived and the journey it takes. Salmon have the potential to become steelhead. They're basically the same thing, but a steelhead is more hardy. It's survived a trip to the salt waters of the ocean and back. So it's got some miles and some experience on it. So they gave it a new name, and I think what it was that a salmon has to live a relatively long life to be able to accomplish a task like that, which is why most steelhead tend to be rather large fish as far as game fishing, I think is what it's called. So I was thinking about Amazon lily, and I started doing some research and digging into it because I couldn't off the top of my head ever remember mention of a Amazon lily existed during the void century or before, or was first discovered 100 years after, nothing like that. So I did some digging and come to find out, yeah, there's no confirmation on how old Amazon lily is, right? And my brain kind of spiraled out. I made a couple quick connections. I'm like, wait, okay, so Amazon rainforest, that's connected to Brazil, which our boy Luffy would be from Brazil if he was in the real world, right? At least according to Oda and our boy Iñaki Godoy. Oh man, I'm so excited for season 2. I heard it's supposed to be this December. Come on, big hopes on that one following through. Or was that Fallout? That might have been Fallout season 2, actually. My apologies. Either way, I'm hyped for both. But you got the Amazon forest, Amazon River, all that's super connected to Brazil in the real world. And I got to thinking and doing some research, and some curiosities came to mind, right? Because as far as Amazon lily, it's not a complete enigma. It's not entirely unique, but it is rather unique as it is one of only 3 islands that have been confirmed to be in the Calm Belt. The area on Planet Blue where there's no winds to speak of. There's no easy method of a ship traveling across it. And dangerous waters, sea kings all over the place. And this led into me thinking about the old theory that the red line, I mean, obviously we're probably looking at a man-made creation, something either the 20 kingdoms or Emu and his little posse put together near the end of the void century. And the fact that the Grand Line and the Calm Belt are maybe not direct results of it, but at least partially influenced by the existence of the red line, right? Because you got a planet that's basically free-flowing water except for one ring wrapping all the way around it to cut off the waters, which has some other implications as far as North and South Pole, much bigger planet. There's a lot of real-world science that doesn't pertain to this, but the red line is an anomaly in itself, But, why is the Calm Belt and the Grand Line so stuck in my head, right? Well, now, okay, I guess first I do want to mention, because there is a real world parallel-ish, as there is along the 30-degree longitudes, an area on even our planet that was, I forget what the exact name for it, like the dead waters or something. But there are a couple of rings where the winds just don't blow as hard on the sea, so it would leave some ships dead to rights, just floating in the water with no real way of propelling themselves in an effective manner, right? So I did just want to mention that real quick because I had it there. But these 3 islands, what what's so weird about them, right? So, I mean, obviously, we're all pretty familiar with Amazon Lily. I'll double back to that one in a bit. But another one is Impel Down, a man made island. As we do know, it was built, I believe, surface to ocean floor. I mean, it is One Piece. For all we know, it was built ocean floor to surface too. But I do believe it was built from the surface down to the floor of the ocean, which makes sense. You know, being on the calm belt, there wouldn't have been any ways to disturb the sea and float the surface of your prison somewhere you didn't want it to be. But okay, so we got a prison here, right? Sorry if you guys heard that. As always, I'll try to make sure I got that background track on. Do my best to drown out the neighbor noise. Um, Another one of the islands, and the third, and to the best of my knowledge, only other confirmed island in the Calm Belt is Ruskaina, the island where Luffy spent 2 years training with Rayleigh on how to, access and work and kind of start getting the mastery down for hockey, right? Really cool island. But, if we think about it, an island that changes seasons 48 times in 1 year, that that would be not only ridiculous, but it would make any attempt at getting off the island very difficult at best. Because you might be working 1 week cutting down some trees trying to shape them and all that, and the next week it's just torrential downpours for 7 straight days, 24/7, or whatever the hour scheme is in One Piece. Because very likely it's not a 24-hour day or a 7-day week, but we ain't never got confirmation on that to the best of my knowledge. Although Morgan's does deliver a paper pretty regularly, and for newspapers to really get traction, there kind of needs to be stability to a week. So, soft confirmation there on some kind of week. How long it is, unknown. But we're changing seasons 48 times in a year on an island in a sea that is not favorable for sailing in the first place, in waters infested with sea kings. This, to anybody not of that conqueror's hockey level of skill, this island could be seen as a hellhole or a prison in itself, right? So, with these two mentions, you might kind of see where I'm going with Amazon Lily, because it's also a rather unfriendly habitat, shall I say. You know, Not only the location and the calm belt and the surrounding waters, but it's an island that was inhabited primarily with snakes, right? They're they can be pretty dangerous creatures. Now I'll be honest, I've always kind of had a fondness for snakes, at least compared to the alternate phobia. I definitely ain't gonna put pictures up of this one, but just for a little bit of Barlow info, I have pretty bad arachnophobia. If you guys want to laugh at me a bit, the tutorial for Skyrim. Yeah, it took me 3 months to get through that dungeon because of those frostbite spiders, man. Like, I would try and I'd have to log out. I just couldn't. I'd start. Whoo! Okay. Sorry about that. In comparison to that, though, I've kind of had a fondness for snakes. Not that both weren't around when I was growing up, but I did, as a kid, have a neighbor who had a boa constrictor, whose parents would let the snake just kind of hang out, right? It wasn't always kept in his tank. That an adult was always around whenever the snake was out and about. Most of the time, it would just chill up on top of one of the cabinets in the kitchen, kind of peeping everybody out. But sometimes it'd come down by us kids just to say hi, make its presence known, as it were. But I believe partially because of that, I've always kind of had a fondness for snakes. But for the most part, it is considered one of the bigger phobias because they are dangerous. Not just the venomous ones, but the bigger snakes are quite deadly to people as well, right? So that's kind of the prison key for Amazon Lily is how long are you going to survive against an island infested with snakes? And this kind of sets up a situation where the only confirmed locations we have in the Calm Belt could all kind of be seen as prisons, right? And that, coupled with the fact that the Sea Kings are or could be considered the primary governing body of the Calm Belt. And what I mean by that, governing body is that they are the force of power that has to be navigated to get anywhere or get anything done in the Calm Belt. You have to figure out how to deal with or go around the Sea Kings, essentially making them the political force, even though they hold no agency over an organized government. They control the Calm Belt, and if you don't know how to deal with them or get around them or mask yourself from them, you're going to have a very difficult time trying to get anywhere in the Calm Belt, even assuming you know how to propel yourself without any winds. And that kind of brings me to my theory today, because aside from the name, which obviously there is a real world flower, the Amazon lily, that the island likely takes heavy inspiration from, but I'd like to present what if there is a more literal, in universe reason behind the island's name. Because, as I casually mentioned at the beginning, Amazon holds heavy ties to Brazil, which we know our main character is also associated with, thanks to the clarification of Oda Sensei. And then Lily. We've heard that name before. Not spelled the same, mind you. I do understand Nefertari D. Lily was Lili, and Amazon Lily is Lily. Sorry about that. But because we don't know how long Amazon Lily has been around, and we never got confirmation that Lily was killed, albeit it's entirely reasonable to or believe that over the last 800 years she has passed from something, age, snakes, whatever it may be. But at the end of the Void Century, she got that call. Imu wanted her to kick back after the meeting that the 20 kings stabbed their swords in around the empty throne to pledge their allegiance. She was held back, and this kind of ties into another theory that Nefertari D. Lily was involved in some kind of love triangle with Imu and Joy Boy. And see, what I'm thinking is Amazon Lily was the prison that Imu sent Nefertari D. Lily to after she refused his love. Now, I did mention that I am contradicting what Matt was saying, because if Tritoma is Luffy's mom, not only would that make Luffy the only male born on Amazon Lily. Now, potentially Kuja warriors have had male sons giving birth not on Amazon Lily, but it has been stated that every child born on Amazon Lily was female, and that's how the Kuja maintained their power, right? So if Tritoma is Luffy's mom, that would make him the only male born on Amazon Lily in the history of the island that we know of, and we can say that he was born on Amazon Lily, as Matt put it pretty clearly. Tritoma did die of her love sickness, which indicates that she never left Amazon Lily after she fell in love. Which also kind of is like, okay, is that how Kuma knew about Amazon Lily? Did Dragon and Eva and Kuma, they make their way there at some point. But not only that, but aside from being connected to the Willa D in name, this theory would also present the possibility of Luffy being a direct descendant of Nefertari D. Lili. Sorry, Smash Cut. Had to run to the El Baño again. Was shooting this one in the morning, so the coffee's finally working its magic. But anyway, this just adds another angle to the connection with Joy Boy and or Nika. And I say and or because with this Zebek thing, I'm kind of thinking maybe Nika and Joy Boy were two different people potentially. Just throwing that one out there. Definitely not a flushed out or thought out thought at any means. But as always, I would love to hear what you guys think about this one because there's a lot of implications that haven't quite been fully excavated, as it were, so far. So let me know, what do you guys think? Is if Tritoma ends up being Luffy's mom, does that majorly impact Luffy in any way? His character arc, him directly as a character? Yeah, just let me know what you guys think. I'd love to get a feel for what the community's feeling and thinking with all these revelations that are coming from I'll admit, so many theories evolving from this one Tritoma being Luffy's mom theory. There's a lot of food for thought and a lot of implications from it if it's true. So feel free, drop a comment if you like. If you're liking the content, please do remember to hit that like button as it helps the algorithm get these videos to more people. But to the 70 to 100 people that are checking me out on some kind of regular basis, I want y'all to know once again, I love y'all so much, and y'all are the biggest inspiration that keeps me coming back and doing this. And as always, don't forget to check out these socials on X and Tumblr at Barlo-B.theorizing, and I will make sure to drop a link to that Discord community in the comments if you want to discuss anything. Stop in and leave, whatever you feel like. No pressure, just let me know what y'all are thinking. I hope y'all have a great day. Much love, fam.